Welcome to the shop. I think this is the 200th edition. Really excited today because we have a very spontaneous podcast. The Sharp, the social hub of positivity, not in Emery Gate, but in Can Do HQ with these wonderful people from Rotaract. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. So do you want to introduce yourselves?
Hi, I'm Robin. I've been coming along for, is it like a couple of months now?
Probably only 6
Six,
months.
6 months. Yep.
Time
that's a
flies when
couple.
you're having fun.
Yeah.
I'm Gemma, I'm the president of Rotaract, and I started coming just over a year ago.
I'm Isabel. I've only just started coming about a month. About a month. Liking it, enjoying it.
Cool.
I'm Tanya. I've been coming since whenever we started, about a year ago, wasn't it? Cool.
Right. So now you're asking, what is Rotaract? So who would like to, Gemma, maybe as the president,
Yeah.
you could explain what Rotaract is to the wonderful audience here that might be inclined to get involved, because that's part of what you do, is this
Yeah.
people to do the voodoo that you do so well. Yeah.
Yeah, so Rotaract's a group for 18 to 30-year-olds that volunteer, help the local community, do charity work, and most importantly, have fun together. We've volunteered for Can Do Arts, your festival.
Yeah, our Unlock Reset Festival, which is a great help. Yeah,
A
that's
few
one
of
of
us
the. Yeah.
joined you then, and we've done some litter picks at Chippenham Pride, at Partyism Park. We've done a few events so far, but we're hopefully going to start up and do some charity fundraising for some of our chosen charities.
Cool. Anyone else got anything to add about this?
I think it's just a really nice way to do some community stuff, which you might have done in schools when you were in school,
Yeah.
but then when you leave, it's, you don't have that much, I don't know, social networking that you can do independently, and
We can do, but carry on. We can do, we can do, we all can do.
unless you go out and find it.
I see what you said.
It's because before I joined here, I didn't know Can Do, so
Wow.
I'm glad
You
that I
have
got
you haven't got out
involved.
enough. That's the first thing. Do you live in Chippenham?
Yeah.
I can't believe you've never done. But that's the point. That's the point of why I want you to do this podcast, because because it's part of Rotary, isn't it?
Yeah.
Which is an organisation which we've worked with in Zagreb. I don't know if you've heard of the work that we've done in Croatia. Yeah, okay, well, see, you haven't heard of Can Do, you haven't heard of Croatia. Okay, let me explain. Right, so we have we get support from the Rotary Club that's on the station, because there's 2 Rotary clubs in Chippenham.
Yeah.
The one that is on Station Hill has probably got a code number or something, isn't it? A serial number 402 or something like that. But
1200.
12, thank you, 1200, which are, so we have a relationship. I've gone and done talks there over the years, and we utilise the Rotary Hall for a lot of our community social education, for our alternative education. So we have a good understanding of Rotary. Rotaract, is that quite a recent development in the sort of organisation of the Rotarians?
So Rotaract's been around since the 1980s, however it went on a bit of a decline, and we've just started this back up in November last year.
Right.
And Eddie, who's helped set it up, is actually trying to set up a few more of them around the southwest. They were huge back in the 80s, 90s, and they were like the main kind of flow for 20-year-olds to kind of socialise and also do the charity work and the fundraising.
So it's interesting, isn't it? I think because my brother has been a lion, different sort of lion, up in Northumberland for years. They just raise money all the time. You think, wow, this is amazing. Now, we're an organisation that kind of does the I can say the dirty work, if you know what I'm saying. We actually work with all sorts of communities, whether it be homeless communities, children in care, different parts of the community, mainly the ones that are challenged. So we're always sort of on the rock face. When you're looking for support for that, you know, there's obviously a whole conversation about why all these different challenges occur in society and whose responsibility it is for it. We'll talk about that at the elections, perhaps. Stop it. But in the meantime, you've got these fantastic organisations that are non-politically aligned and non-religiously aligned, and I'm making a point about that.
Such as Rotary and Rotaract.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, this is really interesting that your main purpose is to do good, isn't it? It's to support society. I mean, what can not? That's a fantastic thing. I mean, beyond is a fantastic thing. Yet I do understand that it's a social aspect, and I know that you do. Give me an idea of some of the social gatherings that you have and what you do within them.
What was the axe throwing like?
Yeah, we did the axe throwing, and it was the.
I was allowed to come to that.
It was the.
Yeah, you know, in the group. Oh, I'm allowed to cover that.
Is it called like the Platinum Olympics?
Yeah.
And there was
Oh, yeah.
axe throwing, archery, but we didn't get round to that. There was shooting a gun, and there was pool. And
Are you being trained for war, do you think?
well, with the pool
All
especially.
Yeah.
freeze and bound anyway.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. So, I mean, that's just one example, but presumably you have other plans for different social.
You went rock climbing.
Yeah, so
A
we went
couple
to the
weeks
art
ago.
climbing centre.
Yeah.
So we're looking at tonight. One of the things we'll be discussing is finding a date when all of us can go together. So there'll be just Rotaract going to be there at the art climbing centre, not bits of Rotary and Rotaract. It will be just the Rotaractors.
Yeah, so we also
Yeah.
do work alongside like Rotary, so we will go help at their events and
Yeah,
get the support from them, which is quite
Yeah.
nice because we
yeah,
kind
yeah.
of, I think they really want to see us get up and running and
Because, not being rude, presumably they're a lot older than you. All right, Sam?
No, not hardly at all.
I want to go and see when they're doing the rock climbing. What I'm saying is that you potentially could be the next generation of Rotarians. Is there sort of, once you reach the top end of the age group of Rotaract, do you then become a fully fledged Rotarian?
It's all optional.
Yeah.
There's been quite a few Rotarians come to Rotaract and share. Oh, I met my wife at Rotary.
Yeah,
Rotaract, or
Yeah.
where they were part of Rotaract in the
Yeah.
80s or 90s, and they've made friends for life at Rotaract.
yeah. I mean,
And
it's,
now they're in Rotary, so it's all completely optional. When people pass 30, it's not like they're too old to be Rotaract. I'm still allowed. I'm breaking all the rules here.
I'm breaking the rules, you crazy scroodles.
but I guess if you enjoy what you're doing, the volunteering and everything, you would progress onwards.
Yeah.
So it's all linked together.
The project that we were doing in Croatia is a documentary that we've developed about back in '91, before everyone bar you were born.
Is that when Yugoslavia collapsed?
That's exactly right. This is why he's a font of almost.
So that was one of the nations that was part of Yugoslavia, yes.
That's right. Thank you. So when Yugoslavia dissolved,
Went to hell, more like.
yeah, well, you only need security on this podcast. I can see it now. Security, can you get him? Yeah. Basically, Rotarians in Wales and England and around this area as well got together convoys of support that went on for years. They just basically got all sorts of medicine, blankets, food, you name it, because everything was disturbed because there was a civil war going on. And so we made a documentary about the guys from this end, the Rotarians, who then linked up with the Rotarians in Zagreb to coordinate how that food would get to these outlying areas. And it's the most incredible and dangerous, really interesting documentary. So that was our part of the project we were doing with Cardiff Rotarians and Zagreb Rotarians. But it's like a big family. They're like, you know, as you said, you know, these people have known each other years. It was really uplifting. It was quite harrowing making the documentary. He said, I was only producing it, but watching the raw footage as it was coming in and being developed. But to see that not, I mean, I'm sure that not everyone involved in the convoy was a Rotarian, but it was the Rotarians, individuals that were inspired to help straight away. And I think that says a lot about the nature of what a Rotarian is, and presumably what how would you describe it?
Rotaractor.
A Rotaractor, yeah.
Sounds
You know,
like a
Rotaractors. It does sounds a little bit like some sort of farm machinery.
A bit more hip than a Rotarian.
Well, but at the same time, you know, what harm? Lions, Rotarians, out to do good for society. I mean, where's the bad in that? It's a fantastic idea. And of course that you have social gatherings as well, because that's also part of it, and that's really important. Robin, what's your motivation for being?
Well, it's nice because I have like a community now. I didn't feel like there was very much in, well, wherever we are. And it's quite nice to meet up with people, socialise, but then you're actually doing good. And it makes me feel really nice being able to volunteer and help out and make that difference, however small.
Yeah.
Just, it's a difference, and it's nice working to do something.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's great.
Perfect. That's fantastic. What about you?
For me, I think making, like Robin said, like making that impact in your community, and I think most importantly, like locally, for me, is quite a big thing. When I joined, I kind of wanted to help more like teenage girls and safety in public, because it stemmed on from my thesis that I did, which I did in Chippenham. I did a thesis on teenagers' experience of Chippenham's public space. So I did a whole
I'd like to read that. Yeah, seriously, we work obviously with teenagers, particularly ones in.
You need to read it.
Yeah.
You need to pay them.
No, you're more welcome to read it.
Is there an audio version?
But yeah, I did it for a charity called Make Space for Girls.
Wicked.
And
what a great idea.
they tried to advocate for more public spaces. And
Yeah.
I did that, and then I was like, well, if there's any way that I can help my community, whether it's through that or through any other channels, then I'd be interested. So when I heard about Rotaract, I was like, yeah, I'll help.
Fantastic.
I'm in.
Yeah, that's
So, yeah.
amazing.
It's good.
So where did you do that? What degree was it?
I did a degree in Belfast. I was doing my master's at the time, so city planning and design.
Wow.
So yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. And you?
Me and Gemma, our mums know each other, and at a mum and daughter meeting, Gemma told me about it, and it sounded fun, so I thought I'd join,
Yeah, but aren't you a teacher?
I am a teacher.
Which is also an amazing profession.
Yeah.
Particularly hard and possibly needs a lot more support. I'll go back into the politics of that in a minute. But that in itself is an amazing community support.
I love the feeling of community within the school, and the students have loads of opportunities and stuff, and just thought I'd like a job opportunity as well to do things. I mean, obviously I can support them doing it, but I thought it'd be nice to do something myself in the community.
It's fantastic, because as I say, there will be people say actually being a teacher in itself is such a massive contribution, positive contribution to society, that you would quite rightly be, if you, in the evenings or weekends or whatever, to put your feet up when you finish marking 10,000 books and whatever, and preparing lesson plans, etc. The endless tasks that a teacher has to do, but that you go out of your way to do that bit more, because the message in that I'm saying to anyone that might be listening is that that's what it needs sometimes, isn't it? That we've all got our careers or whatever, our to say careers, occupations, whatever. But that you are doing it outside of that to further help the society is really commendable.
Thank you.
Well, it just is. Conversely, our whole raison d'etre is just that. And it's not like, and then at whatever 5 o'clock we all just put a fee up, because then you actually help us do the other bits where we're doing the social aspect of it, which is the festivals, the evenings. We do a lot of stuff in the evenings, showcases, music, whatever, films with at the Rotary Hall or the cinema or wherever. But the idea is to continually have these occasions where people can come together and share the collective sense of being, whether it's a Christmas, Easter, or whatever, or just the end of term for our alternative education. That it's not just what's contained within the days that we work; it's about the whole thing. So, on lot we set festivals at a weekend. Lots of our stuff's in the evening, after doing the alternative stuff, or the workshops at our shop, or the social hub of positivity. Madam, in the end, could you please tell us?
Madam.
Madam!
Tanya.
Tanya, you can call yourself Tanya.
Oh, thank you very
Yes.
much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
What drove you here? What drove you to do that?
The bus, actually.
Yeah. Did it really?
Thank you very much to
Yeah,
the local bus service.
Good.
What got me involved in Rotary and Rotaract.
Yeah.
It's really about encouraging more volunteers and making a difference in the community. It's so important to bring people together and to spread like this joy. That everyone's got a sense of joy in it. We can make it contagious,
Yeah.
and everyone can make even a tiny bit of difference, even if it's just picking up a bit of litter, or even if it's just sharing their thoughts, or being a listening ear to someone else, or going to an event. There's so many different things that people could do that's free, that's all it takes, a little bit of their time, whether it's just an hour or 2 hours, it doesn't matter what it is, that makes a difference. And volunteering can have a huge impact on the individual that does it and the people around them.
100%. 100%. And during the day, you're a tutor, aren't you?
Yeah.
Is that
English and maths.
English and
mostly.
maths? I tested your maths, I'd love to hear your English.
You want me to start quoting Shakespeare now?
I would. Okay, it's a little test. Bless you, sir. What play is this from? If it were done when 'tis done, and 'twere well, it were done quickly. If the assassination could tremble at the consequence, and crouched with his to see success, then but this blow might be the be-all and the end-all.
Is this from the Rotary Fringe?
This is about you're about to kill somebody.
Oh my God, she's
The
good.
worst crime ever thought of. But it needs a woman to be unsexed. She can't be a woman any longer.
Yeah?
That's
think
right,
so.
isn't it? She can't be a woman any longer. She needs to pour some spirits into her ear to make her so twisted that she can manipulate her husband to make sure he has to do it, actually. The husband does it. What play is it then, Ed?
No, I'm asking you. Remember, what play is
The
it?
Macbeth.
Well done.
Oh.
She's good.
So,
Well done. That was-
well, you just quoted it.
I know, but I don't know that many. There's very famous quotes from Macbeth, isn't it? If it's just a dagger I see before me, the sandal. You know, that was good. I'm impressed. No one else? She's good. Maybe she'd come and work with us. Put that knife down, you, and listen to this Tanya do some Macbeth. Right. So you do that, and then you. Because I totally agree with you that actually people can make a difference, and sometimes we as individuals in a collective society. For me, the idea of community is common unity, that which unifies us commonly. So what do we all commonly think is something important in society? Now,
A lot of things.
Pardon?
Well, a lot of things.
100%. But if you were to, if we could do an experiment now.
Fairness, equality, justice,
Yeah.
law and order.
Yeah. But does that? Okay. So, if we were to say what?
Also, it depends what country you're picking.
No, I don't think it does.
It does, because the values are different from
No, I don't think they are. There you go.
If you go to North Korea,
Don't care.
well, what
That's
unifies
political.
them
You're
is
talking about
totally
the difference between
different,
the political. What commonly unifies human beings? So what are the physical? What are the physical needs of human beings?
food,
Yeah.
drinking,
Just say water.
community,
No.
relationship,
Physical. So you've said it. So you say
exercise,
air,
health,
water,
fitness,
food. Yeah.
family.
But you can define them. It doesn't matter what part of the planet you're on. You need those things. Then you talk about the emotional needs of human beings,
Right.
right? And they're the same all over the world. How you get them, how you access them, through what regime or through what geographical whatever, is determined by your geography and sometimes the philosophy of your, so say, leaders. But what's interesting about this, and why, like I'm saying, a war starts in Croatia or Yugoslavia, and people in Rotarians, I think very specifically, in Wales, etc., go, whoa, well, 1 second, this is important. Those kids are going to be starving. We've got to do something about that. But you must have looked at them and gone, what are you talking about? Then that was bad Welsh impersonation. Imagine it was Tom Jones. He said, oh, what are you talking about? Listen, I'm not doing more impersonations because I could get shot. But the idea that people say, yeah, no, because there's war in Yugoslavia, boom, we've got to do something about it. But they just went crazy. What they did and how they did it. I'm just using it as an example of how I know Rotarians think, what motivates them. And this is why it's interesting doing this, because obviously the more people that, even if they just pick up a bit of litter, even if they're just thinking beyond their own needs, and I understand, God do we understand, we work with so many, have done, we're 26 years old this year, not me obviously, stop it Robin, it's the organisation. We've worked up and down the country, some internationally, but mainly up and down the country, but mainly in this area. And when you look at how people perceive even Chippenham as a community, and our reality of working with some families, and you go, I don't think the majority, even the councillors, understand just how incredibly dark some people's lives are in this town, in this very vicinity. It's really, really shocking, which is why it makes it even harder when you have disjoint between councillors acting politically for a political philosophy, but in reality it's like, but what about the reality? The reality is these poor kids, or these, and I mean physically and emotionally poor. So for us it's a stark reality to meet people, and I met you guys in, did I meet you at the Unlock? No, it's not going to say. We talked for hours. Thank you, sorry about that. But
you met some of the other Rotarians that aren't here though as well.
Eddie.
No, I did. No, absolutely.
Nissa was there, no?
Oh, Nissa, yeah.
Yes, Nissa, of course. And her brother was helping out on the PA, and he's making a Rotarian, so I worked that out. What a great family. But that's amazing. That's amazing to be like in the flow of things and go, oh my God, that's amazing that you're doing that. That's why I wanted to have this conversation, to go, oh, okay, well, let's tell more people, because I don't know how many people you can physically have in your, I don't know if you call it club or your sector.
As many people.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So you want to enlist people, and we're going to put the details of how, Sam's going to get the details of how we're going to do that. We'll put this on this podcast. And anything else you want to say? Because I'm aware that you have other things to talk about this evening, other than this, but this might be useful.
I think I'll just add something, if that's all right.
Yeah.
In COVID, during the COVID years, we saw a massive influx, a massive increase of people volunteering because they had to. Because
Right.
there were the elderly that were stuck at home that couldn't go out and eat, or people that were sick.
Yeah.
And there was a huge drive, a huge recruitment for volunteers, and that was very common, and then people went back to work, and
Yeah.
volunteering suddenly wasn't a mainstream,
Yeah.
normal thing. It's kind of left society. And one of the things about Rotary and Rotaract, but really Rotaract in this case, is to get volunteering part of life,
Yeah.
so that it's within us, everyone here, everyone who
Yeah.
comes to Rotaract. It's not just about socialising. Socialising is a lot of fun, and we
Yeah.
meet up every fortnight, but it's also that we know we're making a difference.
Yeah.
And COVID, it's come, it's still around,
Yeah.
but the worst part of it is gone.
Yeah.
But volunteering, we're always going to need, there's always going to be something to do to make a difference in the world.
100%. 100%. That's well said. That's really interesting as well, because, of course, society changed for a while, didn't it? Isn't it funny that there was a whole period where the skies were clear, there were no planes, the air was clear, the birds were singing, the sun was shining. Now I'm sure that was just a coincidence, but in a way, I would have thought that lots of people suddenly started to rethink their lives and go, wait a minute. Now, it's ironic that obviously at the time I better say his name properly.
Not political though.
No, but everything's political. Everything's political. That you basically have a situation like, oh, we're going to do this. We're going to give you what? You're going to give us our tax money back to survive. Because what's the alternative? You're not no one can go to work, and you're going to say what? That they should loot shops? What? Keep going. So yeah, we're going to come up with this great idea. It's called what? Giving people a segment of the money, our collective wealth back to survive in a massive, say, worldwide pandemic. I agree with you that actually what happened is that people started to react and behave and communicate in a completely different way. That they started to see what true values were, and it was quickly consumed again. And literally provoked him to eat out to help out. When it turns out the only thing that helped out was COVID spread. But at the same time, when nobody could do any of that, I think you're right. We started, so it was announced on Tuesday that the day after we did, because we run open mics, we started our first digital open mic. So people just sent from their phones in their bedrooms or what have you, or wherever, and just sent songs in. So every Wednesday, from the very, so COVID was announced on Tuesday, Wednesday night, our first digital, I bet it was the first one in the country. Not there's a competition or any prizes, but it's like, no, this will help people because then they'll have something to focus on. We also got international entries, but basically, we've got people trying out instruments for the first time in these new hobbies that they've suddenly got time to do, and putting themselves out on this thing. It's the most beautiful thing. We just tuned in avidly. Forget about anything else that was on. Every Wednesday for 3 years we did that, and it allowed people to share their lives in a really interesting way. Not that I would suggest that everyone watches every episode, but if you hear the introduction to each one, it's a diary of that, because it's every week for 3 years. You hear what the headlines are, because Brian Reed, bless him, who was introducing it in his car outside his house with his phone for 3 years. He wasn't there for 3 years, he's obviously going and doing other stuff. He didn't live in his car. But he,
still alive?
Is he still alive? I hope so. I mean, it wasn't that dangerous. He was sitting in the car. It wasn't Yugoslavia. Come on, man.
Still.
Yeah. Yes, very important bit. But it was really interesting how people suddenly looked at what was needed and how neighbours possibly communicated in a much more, wait a minute, we need each other in a way that we generally don't think we do.